cooking oil, from its chemical composition to its role in our diet, and even how different oils react under heat. So let's get started. So for the first slide, we'll take a look at the importance of cooking oil in our daily life and its significance. So cooking oil plays a key role in food preparation because we use it for frying, baking, or even roasting. Uh, so when we fry food, let's say, we make the food crispy and flavorful. And meanwhile, if we bake the food, uh, we will adding some moisture and texture to cakes and pastries. And also when we roast food, it can enhance its flavors and cooking food, and it will cook the foods evenly. But did you know that the oil isn't just about cooking, because it's also nutritionally essential. So the oils provide a concentrated source of energy. It will support for cell function, also absorption of vitamins. So why it is a concentrated source of energy? Because if I'm not mistaken, each gram of fat that we consume, it will provide for about 9 calories per cal, making it the most energy dense micronutrient. And also it can support for cell function because our body needs fats to build cell memories and also hormones. And also it's crucial for absorption of vitamins to our body, because vitamins A, D, E, and K. So these four vitamins are fat soluble, so meaning we can only absorb them properly when we consume oil. So without cooking oil, not only would our food taste different, but our bodies would not function as efficiently either. Okay, so here for the second slide, we talk about the chemical composition of the cooking oil. So now let's break down what cooking oil is made of. So cooking oil is primarily composed of triglycerides and also fatty acids, and along with some minor components like antioxidants. And let's we take a look at the triglycerides first, which is the backbone of oil. So these triglycerides are molecules that made of one glycerol molecule and three fatty acids molecule. So these fatty acids will determine the oil's properties, such as whether it is solid or liquid at the room temperature. And also here we have the types of fatty acids in cooking oil. So there are three main types of fatty acids that we can find in cooking oils, like saturated fatty acids, monounsaturated fatty acids, and polyunsaturated fatty acids. So for the saturated fatty acids, we can find it in coconut oil, palm oil, or even butter. So these fats are stable at high temperatures, which is making them good for frying, but too much can also increase our cholesterol levels. So we have to control the consumption of it. And for the monounsaturated fatty acids, we can find it in olive oil and canola oil. So these fats are healthy and can withstand moderate cooking temperatures. Meanwhile, for the polyunsaturated fatty acids, we can find it in sunflower oil or even soybean oil. So they are good for heart health, but can degrade easily at the high heat temperature. And also there are minor components in oil besides triglycerides and fatty acids that I have discussed. The oils also contain antioxidants like vitamin, so this can prevent oxidation and keep the oil fresh. And also you had impurities, which is some oils may contain trace minerals and free fatty acids, which can affect their stability. So these components determine how different oils behave when exposed to heat and how they impact our health. So let's move on to the next slide. Just I will talk about the functions of cooking oil components. So now that we know what cooking oil is made of, so let's talk about how each component is functioning. So for the first one, I will talk about the triglycerides, saturated fatty acids, unsaturated fatty acids, and also I will add the antioxidants. So for the triglycerides, so these act as energy storage molecules and are essential for the oil's consistency. Meanwhile, for the saturated fats, it will help the oil stay stable at high temperatures and make them ideal for deep frying. And the unsaturated one, it can improve our heart health, but can degrade quickly when exposed to a high heat temperature, as I mentioned before. And also I can add some point of the antioxidant, because the antioxidants can protect oil from going rancid and increase the shelf life. So this is why some oils like palm oil are commonly used for frying, while the others like flaxseed oil are better used raw in salad dressing. So that's all for my part. I will pass this presentation to the next presenter, which is Fatima Alia.
So, for my part, I will be explaining about the chemical process or the reaction involved in the functioning of cooking oil. First, the heating of cooking oil. It involves thermal decomposition. So when cooking oil is heated, especially beyond its smoke point, it undergoes thermal decomposition, breaking down into smaller molecules. It produces free fatty acids, glycerol, and eventually acrolein. So, the chemical process involves triglycerides break down into glycerol and free fatty acids. Then, the glycerol will further dehydrate to form acrolein. Here is the chemical equation for the process. Next, when we are cooking or frying food, Maillard reaction and lipid oxidation happens. So, Maillard reaction is a reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars when exposed to high heat, which is above 140 degrees Celsius. This reaction is responsible for the browning and the development of rich flavors and aromas in many cooked food, such as grilled meat, toasted bread, coffee, and also fried potatoes. So, let me explain on how Maillard reaction works. We have 3 stages of Maillard reaction. The first stage is the initial stage, which is the formation of glycosilamine. What happens in this reaction is that a reducing sugar, such as glucose, reacts with amino acids. This will form an unstable compound called glycosilamine through a process known as condensation. The second stage is the rearrangement, which is the formation of Amadori compound. The glycosilamine arrangement to form a more stable compound called the Amadori product or even Haines product. The last stage is the advanced stage, which is the breakdown and polymerization. The Amadori compound breaks down into a variety of smaller molecules, which are flavor compounds, such as aldehydes and melanoidins. So, melanoidins is a large brown color polymer that create the browning effect on the food's surface. Now, let me explain about lipid oxidation. So, lipid oxidation is the reaction of unsaturated fats in the oil with oxygen, especially at a high frying temperature. This process is especially important in cooking, food storage, and also frying because it affects both the taste and safety of the food. There are 3 types of lipid oxidation, which are autooxidation, photooxidation, and enzymatic oxidation. So, autooxidation is most common in cooking oils. It is a free radical chain reaction that occurs when unsaturated fats react with oxygen. This reaction happens in 3 phases, which are initiation, propagation, and termination. The second type of lipid oxidation is photooxidation. It is triggered by light exposure, especially UV lights. This oxidation is common in oils stored in bottles. Last but not least, we have enzymatic oxidation. So this reaction is catalyzed by enzymes such as lipooxygenase. So last but not least, we have hydrogenation. It is a chemical process that is fairly important in the chemical industry. Some cooking oils undergo hydrogenation to make them more solid at a room temperature. For example, margarine. This process adds hydrogen to unsaturated fats and turning them into saturated fats. So what exactly happens during hydrogenation? So unsaturated fats have one or more carbon-carbon double bonds in their structure. These double bonds make the fats liquid at the room temperature. During hydrogenation, hydrogen atoms are added to these double bonds, converting them into single bonds. This turns the liquid oil into a more solid or semi-solid fats. There are two types of hydrogenation, which are full hydrogenation and partial hydrogenation. In full hydrogenation, all double bonds are converted into single bonds. This results in fully saturated fats which are very solid. Meanwhile, in partial hydrogenation, some double bonds remain while others are converted. This process can create trans fat which are harmful to our health. Partial hydrogenation produces semi-solid fats, such as margarine or vegetable shortening.
Following that, I will be explaining about the environmental and health effects associated with the use of cooking oil. One of the biggest health effects caused by prolonged use of cooking oil is actually trans fat. Trans fat is unsaturated fat that is created through a process called hydrogenation, in which liquid oils are turned into solid fats by adding hydrogen. This process helps increase the shelf life and stability of oils and fats, making them less likely to spoil. There are many studies that have shown that trans fat has been linked with increase of LDL cholesterol, also known as low-density lipoprotein cholesterol. Increase in LDL cholesterol can lead to an array of health problems such as heart disease, stroke, and also type 2 diabetes. It is important for us as consumers to be mindful of this and opt for oils that are lower in trans fat, such as seed oils like olive oil, canola oil, and also sunflower. Furthermore, cooking oil can also pose as a threat to the environment, as it can cause oil spills and also pollution. This is because cooking oil is a lipid substance which is both non-polar and also hydrophobic, meaning that it cannot dissolve in water. And unlike some substances, cooking oil also cannot break down through biodegradation, making it stay in the environment for a very long time if discarded improperly. If cooking oil is poured down the drain or into water bodies, it remains there, forming a thin greasy layer on the water's surface. This layer blocks the oxygen exchange between the water and the atmosphere, which is critical for aquatic life. Without adequate oxygen, fish and other aquatic organisms may suffocate, leading to an imbalance in the ecosystem. The oil also pollutes the entire ecosystem as it affects plants, plankton, and other small microorganisms. The pollution caused by improper disposal of cooking oil not only harms aquatic life but also harms humans, as it contaminates freshwater systems too, which is often used by humans for drinking, irrigation, and also recreational activity. In the long term, the presence of oil in water can lead to the contamination of water sources, reducing the quality of water available for human use.